In the field of education, teachers are constantly looking for ways to help students improve learning. This is particularly challenging for special education teachers. In classrooms with students with a variety of disabilities, it may be hard to accommodate to each individual's needs. A student in a special education classroom may have a disability that falls on the autism spectrum. Autism spectrum disorder is made up of a group of developmental disabilities characterized by atypical development in socialization, communication, and behavior. The autism spectrum disorders vary greatly. A child may be on the moderate end of the spectrum, the severe end, or they could be somewhere in between. Common disorders on the autism spectrum include autistic disorder, Asperger's disorder, childhood disintegrative disorder, and Rett's disorder. A child with an autism spectrum disorder may have trouble with social, behavior, and communication skills. If a child has Asperger's, they are typically seen to have problems with social and behavioral skills. However, a child with autism specifically will also have trouble with communication skills. Now, how can we help to aid students' learning if they are on the autism spectrum? We can implement different strategies. One strategy found particularly successful with children on the autism spectrum is the use of visual supports in and out of the classroom. Visual supports are tools that help learners keep track of and have a better understanding of daily activities. But what exactly are visual supports? Well, have you ever made a schedule for a day to see what you will be doing and when? Have you ever walked into a bathroom and seen a poster with steps on how to wash your hands? Have you ever labeled drawers with pictures to know what was in each of them? These are all visual supports. Visual supports can be as simple as checklists. Here are two different types of checklists. The one on the left shows pictures of different food items that can be used when shopping in a grocery store. The one on the right is a checklist of personal items that can be used in the morning to get ready for the day. Visual supports can also be used to help children get through situations. Doing the right thing is on the left. It goes through a situation and shows possible options a child can choose in that situation. It guides the child through the situation so they know how to act. This can be a helpful tool for students to carry around with them to know how to act in social situations. Flashcards can also be a visual tool for students learning a topic. In this example, one side of the flashcards represents an animal with a picture and the word. The opposite side shows a sentence using the name of the animal in it. This can help students to make connections by seeing pictures and connecting them to words. This visual support is called a prompt. A student can be given a prompt which helps them to know what they are expected to do. The top half explains how a student shares. If Cal asks nicely, give him what he asked for. A student looking at this would understand that if another student wants what he has and asks politely, he should give it to another student. On the left is an example of a visual support that is a schedule of a day. A student can be given the schedule and be able to follow pictures that are associated with the different events throughout the day. The top right picture shows an example of a visual support to label supplies, and the bottom right picture shows a child the steps he or she should take to brush their teeth. Behavioral problems can also be helped with visual supports. This visual support shows a child that he or she should not run, and in fact the correct behavior is to sit nicely in a chair. Below shows a picture of a child cleaning up. A student with behavioral problems may not know what they are supposed to do, and these visual supports can help. As you can see, visual supports come in all different colors, shapes, and sizes. They are also used for many different things and can be used in and out of the classroom. Visual supports can be made for almost anything to help a child's learning. So, we've gone over what autism spectrum disorder is, and we've gone over many different types of visual supports. But why are these visual supports so important for students with autism spectrum disorder? The answer has to do with characteristics of children with autism. Students with autism tend to have behavior, social, and communication problems. Some teachers try to solve these problems by speaking with the students or punishing them. However, sometimes students with autism do not comprehend information coming at them verbally. Instead, children on the autism spectrum have been seen to be more successful when learning visually. So now that the information is given to these students in a way they can understand, how do the visual supports help students? Think again about how autism spectrum disorder affects students. These visual supports help to solve behavioral, social, and communication problems that may arise. These visual supports can help students in the classroom. Specifically, visual supports can decrease reliability on others. Given a visual support, a student can have greater success by completing a task by themselves and encourage independence. They also provide structure and create orderliness, which ties into overall stability in the environment for the child. So, visual supports help children with behavior problems by limiting unwanted behaviors in classrooms. Visual supports help students with social problems by helping to show students how to interact with others. And visual supports help students with communication problems by helping them learn how to use language. Reliable studies have also shown positive reactions to visual supports. Studies where tasks were performed with and without visual supports found visual supports work best when altered to a specific student. They help to decrease behavioral problems, they help students be able to be independent, and they help to improve skills all around in the classroom. Now, the question is, how will you use visual supports? A special education teacher can use some of these methods in this presentation. A general educator can, as well as visual supports, help all students. And if you're a non-educator, visual supports can be used for almost anything.